Hello Facebook world, and welcome to our week-long celebration of World Giraffe Day. World Giraffe Day is Sunday, June 21st. It's the longest day of the year, so we celebrate the tallest animal in the world. But we decided, since we're in this social media phase right now, that we are going to celebrate all week long. And today we're going to talk about training. So we had a question yesterday, are giraffe trainable, and at what age do you start to train a giraffe? So we're going to answer both of those. We're going to show you some of our giraffe training. Right now we've got my coworker Megan in the background feeding our bull Skeeter. Skeeter is 11 years old. He's 15 and a half feet tall, and he's right around 2,000 pounds, making him the largest animal we have here at Como. So when we talk about training, we train for a number of different reasons, but one of the most important ones is helping them help us participate in their own vet care. Because being 2,000 pounds and 15 and a half feet tall, if he doesn't want to show me an owie on his knee, he certainly doesn't have to. So if we can preemptively train that behavior that he shows us a body part, it's going to help us help him in the long run. But we do some fun behaviors also. So we train for really 5 different reasons here at Como. The vet care, which we talked about, we train for education, just to show off some of the really cool giraffe behaviors. So we do a tongue behavior, and part of that is to show you all how long their tongue is, but also in case Skeeter had an injury on his tongue at some point, we can use that behavior in the future. We also train for research. A lot of the captive research that we are able to do on our giraffe can correlate with some of the wild research going on. For example, I can pull one of Skeeter's tail hairs and we can look at his DNA. We can't do that with a wild African giraffe, but his DNA may give us some answers to something. And by training Skeeter a desensitization behavior to having his tail touch, that would help us in the long run. We also train for fun, for mental stimulation. These guys, as we know, they eat most of the day. And so if we can stimulate that brain by giving them food as a reward, it helps them out. And maybe it gets them to learn a little bit. So those are the kind of the reasons why we train. I will tell you that giraffe are trainable, but really it's an individual thing. Skeeter's a very food motivated guy. We figured that out pretty early on, that romaine is his go-to treat. And romaine's really easy to provide in a training session. So he's easy to train because he's food motivated. Sometimes we have a couple of the females, like Daisy and Clover, aren't as keen about taking food from a human hand, so training them's a little bit more difficult. We really just have to figure out their motivation. Sorry, Soda's coming into the picture right now. So yes, giraffe are trainable. They're easy to train if you can figure out what they're looking for. But here at Como, training is really free choice. So Skeeter doesn't have to participate if he doesn't want to. Daisy doesn't have to participate in training if she doesn't want to. It's really all up to them, and we try to give them as much choice in their training sessions as possible. So another person asked, at what age do you start training? And again, that's very individual. We'll train as soon as the kids start taking food from our hands. So for Penelope and Soda, that was really young. It was like 2 to 3 months of age. For Frances, she was a little bit older. She was more like 5 months when she started consistently taking food from us. And we always start with what's called a target behavior, and every animal has a different target. For giraffe, we use a buoy target on a dowel. And it's just a larger item, it's easy for them to see. And we start by training them to put their nose on the target, and then they get a reward for that. And we can use that behavior later on if we're trying to shape or create a new behavior. By moving his nose, he sometimes will move other parts of his body. We can use that as just kind of a focal behavior. The other thing you'll hear during our training session is a clicker. So it's just a normal clicker. Some of you may use it for your dogs at home. And here at the Como Zoo, we use it as a bridge. And a bridge just means we are telling the animal or communicating with the animal that a reward is coming. But we can't always give them the reward as soon as they do the behavior correctly. So we're trying to communicate that, hold on just a second, we're coming, you did it right. And the animals really learn that bridge. It's also very helpful when we have different people with different voices. If you watched yesterday, you met my coworker Adam. Adam and I sound very different. So if we were to use a verbal bridge like good, him and I would sound very different. So we found that the clicker works the best because it's a nice, easy way to tell them that their reward is coming. So we're gonna do a quick training session for you, and some of the things you're gonna see are just body positioning. So we ask Skeeter to side up a lot. And by doing that, we could potentially give him a brush. We could clean out a leg wound at some point. We use a side present as the beginning to a hoof present. So we can voluntarily clean out Skeeter's hooves or trim them if we need to in the future. So a lot of the big guys, a lot of our behaviors are body positioning. We'll also see a tongue behavior, and you'll see some just tactile desensitization. I will warn you, this is the first time we've trained the giraffe with masks on. So you may see some different behaviors from him. We've also noticed that the giraffe really like to try and eat our gloves because they are green. So you'll notice some of that also. We are in our outdoor exhibit right now. This is our outdoor training yard, and it's new to us and them. So you'll see some of that in our training session too. But watch for that target, listen for that bridge, see some of the different behaviors that we do with our giraffe. Thanks for watching, and enjoy a World Giraffe Week. Good job, bud. Good job. That was very nice. Okay, back. Skeeter, back. Back. Good. There you go. Good job. Side again. Good. Good. Skeeter, tongue. Good. Do that again. Tongue. Hold. Good. What's your kid doing up there, huh? Skeeter, target. Okay, move up. Oh, nice drool, man. Move up. Good. Okay, Skeeter, down. Down. All the way. Oh, you're so good. Good job. Take that. Good job. Good job. Okay, go back to side. Oh, side. Skeeter, side. Skeeter, side. Good, all the way. Side. All right, P. Target. Good job. Good job. Okay, target. Good. Good job. Tongue. Hold. Hold. Good job. Okay, touch. Good. Okay, touch. Good. We touch the other side. Touch. No. It's a glove. Touch. There you go. Good job. Ear. Good job. We do the other ear. Ear. Good. Good job, sweet girl. Okay, touch. Good. Okay, so here, touch. Okay. Okay, touch. Good job. Okay, touch. Good girl. Wasn't a whole lot. Okay, target. Good girl. Okay, back. Back. I'm getting a little closer, kid. Back. Penelope. Hi, monkey. Are you going to switch? Hi, how are you? I get you now? All right, target. Just a merry-go-round, huh? Okay, tongue. Need that tongue. Good job. You're all right. It was a good job. All right, now touch. Good. Okay, ear. Oh, try again. It's just a glove. Ear. All right, touch. You goob. Ouch. All right, can we do a leg touch? Ready? Touch. Good. Uh-oh, Papa's coming. Papa's coming. Run away! Skeeter, you're a troublemaker. Hi, bud. All right, all done, Soda. I don't have... Set up. Good job, man. Okay, tongue. Tongue. Tongue.
This is so good.
Is it cool?
Yeah.
Skeeter, tongue. Hold. Good job. All right, Skeeter side. Still just my glove. Side. Good. That's beautiful, bud. Good job. All right, Skeeter, touch. Oh, touch. Skeeter, touch. There. Ear. Good job, buddy. All right. Skeeter down. All the way. Good job. Good job, man. Okay, all done. That's all I have. Okay, target. Ooh. Tongue. Tongue. You're pretty cute, kid. Target. Good. Target. Doesn't take it fast enough. All right. Touch. Okay. Still just a glove. Yeah. Touch. Good. Here. Touch. P, back up. Good job, Soda. You're a good boy. Okay, target. Back up. Good. Target. Good. Okay, down. Hi, buddy. Good job. You're supposed to go under the bar, though. Good girl, Penelope. All right, good job, man.